All right, let's get started.
Thank you so much, and thanks everyone for joining us, and to Councillor Robinson and her team and all the community partners here today that could make this possible. As Joseph said, my name's Vanessa. I'm Vanessa Campisi. My pronouns are she and her. I'm on the Senior Services team at the City of Toronto. And we've been working with counselors' offices across the city to set up these sessions. Sometimes lately they've been in person, often they're webinars, and it's just a chance for us to connect with older adults and or their caregivers in the community to try to give an overview of the services for seniors that are out there, whether the ones run by the city or other levels of government or community partners. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll just start with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and it's now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. I will also read our African Ancestral Acknowledgement. We are committed to continually acting in support of and in solidarity with Black communities seeking freedom and reparative justice in light of the history and ongoing legacy of slavery that continues to impact Black communities in Canada. We wish to acknowledge those of us who came to these lands involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. We pay tribute to those ancestors of African origin and descent. And I'll just go through a few housekeeping items for today's webinar. Please note that whether you're calling in or joining online through the WebEx, you'll be automatically muted. We have a lot of content we're going to try to get through today, but we'll do our best to take questions after the presentation as well. Feel free to type questions in the chat throughout the presentation if you need clarification on something or just want to make a point. My colleagues will be monitoring it and may be able to interrupt the presentation. There might be a few points too where I kind of throw a question over to you just to keep it interactive. So if you can use the chat, there's usually the little speech bubble function at the bottom of your screen that should activate the chat. Feel free to go ahead, but we do have a dedicated Q&A at the end. And then if you're calling in, you can request to raise your hand by pressing *3. If we have time for your question, we'll be able to unmute you so that you can ask the question by phone. And then just as a general, if we are unable to get to you or your question, or you just want to follow up with us for anything, email us. It's seniors@toronto.ca. That's our team's inbox. We all have access to it and check it regularly to make sure we can get back to the community's queries. Now, before we dive in, I'm very happy to say we have Councillor J. Robinson here, who would like to say a few words to welcome everyone.
Hi, everyone. It's awesome to be here tonight. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me all right? Just want to make sure the audio is good. Good.
Very clear.
Because I've had this little virus, not COVID, I'm COVID free, but I've had this little virus for 2 weeks and it's affected my vocal cords. So I'm feeling much better, but my vocal cords have not totally recovered. So I'm hoping you can hear me loud and clear. But I just want to start by thanking Vanessa for the introduction and just saying good evening to everyone, city staff that are here and all the wonderful Don Valley West seniors in Ward 15. And you're going to find a jam-packed evening of information tonight that's highly localized to your neighborhoods, the neighborhoods we live in. You'll also learn more about services available that are citywide across all of Toronto. The webinar is just one way. We're moving forward with our council-approved Toronto Senior Strategy, and many of you will know I've been a huge proponent of this. The years that I've sat on council, I've felt that this needs to be prioritized, and here's why. For the first time in history, there are now more Torontonians over the age of 65 than children aged 15 and below. So that's quite an impressive statistics. And by 2031, 1/4 of the city's population will be over the age of 60. So we need a strategy. We need to roll it out and address the pressing issues facing seniors in our city, and really lay out a foundation for the work required to support Toronto's growing aging population. And a big part of that is making sure our city services for seniors are accessible and easy to navigate. And that's why we're hosting a webinar this evening in our very own ward. I'm excited to be here alongside the City of Toronto Senior Services and Long-Term Care Division. And you've met some of them already. Joseph, Vanessa, Andrea are organizing tonight's event along with my staff, Bria, in our office. And you're going to hear about all sorts of great programs: HomeShare, food access, homemakers and nurses services, recreational, financial aid, all of it, the whole package. And we all benefit from the energy and life experiences of seniors throughout Toronto and what they bring to our diverse communities and neighborhoods. So it's important to ensure that the needs of this growing population are met to sustain full, healthy lives. Emphasis on healthy. So thank you for coming out tonight, being part of this. And I hope you'll learn some useful information about the many services available to seniors in the City of Toronto. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you to staff. And we'll look forward to the upcoming webinar. I'll pass it back to Vanessa and Joseph.
Thank you so much, Councillor Robinson. Thanks for that great introduction. Also, thank you to you and your team for partnering with us on this event. We're really pleased to be here. Hope we can make new connections, get people knowing, even our email and contact, and feeling, leaving here and learning a little bit more about what's out there and available and how to access it. I just wanted to mention that we also have a number of representatives from some really fabulous organizations here today, local ones from your ward. You'll hear from them more later. That's Seniors Helpers, East York Meals on Wheels, and the Neighborhood Organization. Sprint Senior Care is local, and they couldn't come tonight, but gave us some great information to share, as well as the local community safety and traffic control officer. So in terms of what we'll cover tonight, we're going to start by providing some general guidance on best ways to access services and how to use the different phone numbers, websites that are out there that can really be simplifying how you find stuff. And then we're going to provide a summary of the range of services available to seniors, including health, recreation, financial, housing, and more. Some of them Councillor Robinson already mentioned. So we just really want to help people know about the services that are out there. Just to give some context about our role as the City of Toronto, the programs we're discussing today are organized and funded by different organizations, different levels of government. There's so many out there, as you probably know. Federal government offers different programs, provincial does. We, the city, have a number of programs, services, discounts for seniors. Home and community care is a provincially funded provider of home health and community services. Then there's the community agencies like the ones on our webinar tonight. Private businesses run services. There's a whole range of housing providers. There's community centers and more. In 2018, when we were developing the Toronto Senior Strategy that Councillor Robinson mentioned, we heard from over 10,000 seniors and caregivers to help us make that strategy and ask them what was important, what was challenging, what needed to change. And what we heard again and again is that navigating all of these services from all these different providers with different application and access points, and knowing how to find and access the services is a real challenge for so many. So our goal today is to try to give you a sense of what programs are out there, whether they are led by us, the City of Toronto, or other levels of government or community agencies. And we want people to know how and where to access services available to them. One more thing I should say before we go, the majority of services we're covering here today are focused specifically on seniors, some cases targeted for seniors or people with disabilities. But as you know, the city and partners across the city offer a huge range of services, um, parks, museums, cultural events, food programs, and so much more that are open to all ages. And our focus today, though, is going to be on the ones that specifically are for seniors. So before I just dive into how to access supports, I'd love to hear in the chat, your thoughts on, have you faced those barriers, and is that one of the reasons you're here tonight? Is it complicated? We first heard in 2018 that message loud and clear, and are you still finding out that it's hard to know who to go to for what, and even to know what is available out there? So feel free to share your thoughts in the chat now or throughout the night if you'd like to. So in terms of accessing the services, and Joseph says, don't be shy. Thanks, Joseph. In terms of accessing the services, I wanted to talk about something fairly new that our team has pulled together over the last year, but with 211 and a number of community partners. Copies are available. We made 10,000 print copies and shared these across the city with different partners. We're now looking into additional print runs because it's been so popular. It's a new guide with information on services including recreation, employment, financial, transportation, housing, health, mental health, crisis situations, elder abuse, and more. A chapter on pets, a chapter on supports for caregivers, things that we heard directly from the seniors and caregivers and organizations we worked with, that people wanted in here. So the directory is available online. We can put the link in the chat. And many Toronto Public Library branches still have hard copies available. So you can check with your local branch. And I think if you need a copy and can't get one at your library, you're welcome to email us at seniors@toronto.ca. I also just wanted to mention that in this new directory, with the support of organizational partners serving Black, Indigenous, 2S LGBTQI+, and other communities of seniors like newcomers, veterans, Francophone seniors, and seniors from other ethnocultural communities, we actually have specific chapters in this directory about services offered for and by these communities, in addition to all the regular information throughout the directory. So we hope this will be a helpful resource. I know a lot of people like flipping through something hard copy, and so we did this. It was part of our senior strategy, one of the recommendations to do it. And it's now out, so we've heard a lot of good feedback so far. There's also the website or the web page on the City of Toronto website, toronto.ca/seniors. So just wondering if people have used that. I'm just seeing someone say no audio, and I just want to make sure you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you,
Okay.
Vanessa. I'm just going to provide
Joseph.
some instructions in the chat.
Perfect. Sounds good. So the toronto.ca/seniors website will point you to most of the city services for seniors run by different departments like our transportation services or Toronto Public Health or housing, whatever it might be. This website sort of can link you to the right services. Of course, there's 311 Toronto for all city services. It's available 24/7 in over 180 languages, has information about all the city programs, services, and sites, waste collection, rec centers, parks, property tax information, including property tax reduction for some seniors who are eligible, noise complaints, shelters, and so much more. There's this other very helpful online tool run by one of our city divisions called Toronto Employment and Social Services. They've made the Service and Benefit Finder tool. So you just go on the website, fill out a survey, answering some questions, demographic questions, and needs questions, like if you're looking for help with health or housing or finance, and the tool will then return a customized list of benefits and supports that can be catered to your specific needs. So caregivers or kids, if you have them, can help you. You can also pick up the phone and call 311, who can help you fill this out if you're having any challenges. In terms of community and social support, so beyond 311 and the city website, all of the community-based programs that are out there and other government programs that are out there, you can contact 211. Like 311, it's available day and night, 24/7, 180 languages. You just say the language as soon as you call, and they will be able to connect you and help you understand what might be available to you. So in terms of the difference with 311 and 211, 311 is specifically for services operated by the city, as we discussed. 211 is for all human and social services, referrals to meal programs, health services, home supports, government benefits, and other services. And if you're ever confused about which to call, they will direct you to the right one. You can call either number. Someone will be happy to assist you. There's also the Toronto Seniors Helpline, and that's in the top left corner of the slide here. This is operated not 24/7, but Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and weekends 10 to 6. They also offer 150 plus languages. They can connect you to health and community support services. They also have a mobile crisis outreach service. So if you are a senior in crisis, or if you are someone who cares about a senior who you think may be in crisis, you can call this number, ask them if they'll dispatch their team to go do a no pressure visit with that senior, and help, if they want, connect them with supports. So it's a really good program, and it's similar to 211 in that they can connect you to a whole bunch of services, but they've got expertise and focus on seniors. And their number is 416-217-2077, and we can put that in the chat as well. So another one to know about is home and community care support services. You may have known these as the LIN, the Local Health Integration Network, or the CCAC, Community Care Access Center. It's now, through government changes, called Home and Community Care Support Services. And this is the provincially funded groups that help you, one, apply for long-term care homes when the time comes and if you need it, and two, access government-funded health and community supports in your home and in your community. So you call, no area code, 310-2222. They're open 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. every day. And they will also ask you kind of some intake questions. What kind of help is it that you're looking for? Do you need Meals on Wheels? Do you need adult day programs? Do you need some nursing and personal support care in your home? Foot care? Or are you looking to get on a wait list for long-term care placement? So they're the number to call, 310-2222, Home and Community Care Support Services. The next one I'm going to talk about a little different. It's not for a health or community or food support, but something that emerged during COVID. They're called TechServe, techserveto.com. They emerged at the beginning of COVID, a group of volunteers, but have become, I think, a nonprofit group dedicated to helping older adults use and figure out technology for free. And they do group sessions or one-on-one appointments. So we've put their information up there, their website and their phone number. We can also put that in the chat, but they can help, set up video calls with loved ones, edit photos, whatever the tech need, that's what they're here to do. So something to keep in mind. Another important, very important phone number is for any concerns related to elder abuse. There's the Senior Safety Line. It's across the province. It's to access counseling services and other supports. It's anonymous and confidential, available 24/7 throughout the year, every day, and they can speak over 200 languages. It's 1-866-299-1011. And they're just totally specialized in helping you navigate situations of elder abuse or, understanding or talking through fears of elder abuse if you haven't even confirmed it yet. You can also call if you're not a senior experiencing elder abuse, but worried about a senior who is, just to get some more support. Another option is Victim Support Line. That's run by the provincial government, the Ministry of the Attorney General. That's up here as well. And there's a lot of counseling services, financial assistance, and other supports available. You can learn more about those in the directory of services I mentioned, or by calling 211, or by calling the Senior Safety Line. In terms of legal support, which is something we also hear, have heard that, is often needed, especially that more specialized seniors lens. I hope everyone knows about Advocacy Center for the Elderly. It's a community legal clinic providing legal services specifically for low-income seniors age 60 plus, and they specialize in legal issues common to seniors, including hospital discharge issues, elder abuse, long-term care, government pensions, retirement home tenancies, and more. There's also Legal Aid Ontario, not specific to seniors, but offers services for financially eligible low-income Ontarians. And then a number of community legal clinics, lawyers, legal workers, paralegals, and staff that can help, especially individuals with low income. There's more in our directory about that, and 211 is a great resource for connecting you with the right legal clinic, near to your home or that serves your specific community. I already mentioned the crisis services, but just worth saying again. This is a really fantastic program. It's a mobile, it's a van they have, a mobile crisis intervention and outreach service for older adults who have dementia, addictions, or mental illness and who need temporary support because they are in crisis. Once you make a call, the case will be triaged, but they will be there within 24 to 72 hours for a home visit. They continued this during COVID as well. They can help the senior make connections to the home and health and government services that could help them. And they'll do follow-ups for, 6 to 8 weeks. So it's a really good resource to know about. It's just specialized on seniors. There are other supports for crisis in Toronto. The Distress Centres of Greater Toronto and the Gerstein Centre are two examples of crisis phone lines that are available 24/7. But in that directory I mentioned at the beginning, we have, at least a page worth of crisis phone lines, many for specific communities or specific types of crisis that somebody might be facing. So I really encourage you to check that out. And lastly, an important phone line run by the Ontario Caregiver Organization is the Caregiver Helpline. And so if you go to the next slide, Joseph, it should pull it up. It's 1-833 416-2273. They also have a website. This is where, as a caregiver, you can learn about, protected employment leaves and EI benefits and tax credits, but also counseling, group therapy, helplines, support programs, and different webinars and events that are out there. And then importantly, how to access respite care. So there's different options if you as a caregiver need a break. Someone to come into your home to support let's say the parent you're taking care of, so you could get some free time. There's also respite beds in long-term care and retirement homes you can apply for. And there's adult day programs, which are in the daytime for older adults. And you could learn more about sending the person you care for to those, and having a bit of time while they're in these safe, supportive adult day program environments. So I recognize that was a lot of different phone numbers, and important things to know about. But just going to pause here if there's any question or clarification needed before I get into the details of what some of the services are. You can type a question in the chat or put up your hand, but hopefully it's clear. It's just, it's, uh, it's good to know like what to call for what you might need. So I see we have 42 attendees right now, which is fantastic. So why don't we move on to the types of supports that you might get once you call, 211, for example. It's hard because there are so many and we obviously can't cover it, but I'll talk a little bit for each. So for recreation and social, we've got seniors active living centers and older adult centers that offer social, cultural, educational rec programs, um, each one tailored to meet the needs of seniors, including cultural, community, and language needs. So always if you're calling 211, just as a base rule, if you're calling to ask, where's an active living center near you, or whatever program you might be looking for, Meals on Wheels, if you have specific cultural or linguistic, or dietary needs, mention that because they can help, filter through all the options to find something that might, oh, here's a program that offers, French language for seniors, or, oh, here's a group of a Tamil speaking seniors book club. Like we've seen that kind of thing. And so always good to mention your language, cultural, community needs. Senior Centers Without Walls is something that started during COVID. It's virtual social and recreational programming for seniors. Adult day programs we talked about. The library, the Toronto Public Library has a number of programs for seniors. Um, there's lifelong learning offered through the TDSB, and discounts for seniors for that. Community gardens and kitchens, and friendly phone calls and visits. This is often staffed by volunteers or trained social workers or social work students. A ton of organizations offer this, but if you just want someone to chat with every once in a while, um, it's people who will do phone calls or visits. There's a lot of different languages available for that as well. In terms of virtual, this is, a lot more became available during COVID. The city has a website called Stay, Play, and Learn at Home where we listed a lot of the virtual activities, that are out there, because there are so many different organizations offering them. This one, the listing on there may be changing soon to help direct you to 211 or community agencies themselves, because just to ensure everything's as up to date as possible. But it's still a good place to go for now until that changes. The Toronto Public Library also can give you a free digital library card and has 38 ways to use the library from home, lots of digital and virtual programs. YMCA and YMCA The Bright Spot have online fitness, and as I'm sure you know, so many of the community service providers are doing amazing virtual things these days. Another area to talk about is employment and financial. You may know that the city offers property tax and utility bill relief for seniors that meet eligibility criteria, including maximum household income and age. There's property tax increase cancellation, property tax increase deferral, a water rebate, and a solid waste rebate program. And that's an application you do through the city. So you can also call 311 to find out. A lot of recreation discounts. For example, adults age 60 plus receive 50% discount on all city adult recreation programs, get discounts on ferry tickets, discounts at city golf courses, things like that. There's assistance with health costs, even funerals, which a lot of people don't know about. You can call 311. Home renovation assistance, like the Toronto Renovates Homeowners Program. You can call 311. It's for making accessibility modifications in your home. But there's other programs too, like I know March of Dimes does accessibility modifications funding. Then there are government pension programs operated by the Government of Canada, and Government Ontario also has some financial support for seniors like Gains. Community organizations do budgeting and financial literacy programs, so offer workshops or training sessions about budgeting on a fixed income. You can call 211 to learn more about that. There's also trustee programs to help manage your money, voluntary and government appointed. And there are employment support services. We'll move on to housing, shift gears a little bit. We know that older adults live in a range of types of housing. As you can hopefully see on the screen here, we've included emergency shelters, subsidized housing like Toronto Community Housing or other forms of social housing or co-op. Often this is called rent geared to income housing. There's a long wait list for it. Affordable and market rental housing, supportive housing, so housing that has support services in it to help people live independently in those buildings, retirement homes, long-term care homes, other options like life lease housing or co-housing, and then home ownership and HomeShare, which we'll talk more about. In terms of housing, it's important to know that there are 10 housing help centers across Toronto. These are a key resource. They're nonprofit agencies that help people apply for subsidized housing, find and keep housing, deal with evictions. They have, specialized workers with information about all kinds of housing options and help. And so they're real experts, and you can call 211 to be connected to a housing help center. You can also find a map of these centers on the city website. You may not know, but there's financial assistance out there to help with rent, moving costs, utility bills, accessibility renovations. The Toronto Rent Bank is one example. There's also support offered by some community agencies for lawn care and snow care. And often there's a cost for this, but it can be subsidized. You can contact 211 to find out which agencies near you offer that. There's also supports available for bed bugs and hoarding. There's Rent Safe TO, which is a fairly new city program, which is a bylaw enforcement that ensures apartment building owners are complying with maintenance standards. And residents have to contact their landlord first and submit service requests for pests or low or no heat or plumbing problems or common area problems. But if landlords don't respond, Rent Safe TO is a city team of bylaw enforcement officers specifically focused on these apartment buildings and making sure tenants in rental apartment buildings have, safe, well-maintained places to live. Councillor Robinson mentioned HomeShare, and I'm really happy to be talking about it. curious how many people here know it or have used it. It started in Toronto as part of our senior strategy. It's a really neat intergenerational housing solution. It matches older adults that have homes with a spare bedroom or more than one spare bedroom with students from college or university who are looking for a place to live, hopefully, lower rent on their student income. And so the homeowner gives reduced rent of, I think it was 400 to 600 a month. I'm not sure if it's gone up at all. And then in exchange, the student provides up to 7 hours of companionship or assistance with completing light household tasks, even watering plants, walking a pet, maybe picking up groceries, things like that. So it's now no longer called Toronto HomeShare. It's expanded across Canada, which is great news. We're so happy it started here and worked out. But you can check that out at Canada HomeShare. Students and seniors are matched with a social worker based on a variety of preferences. Everyone gets a vulnerable sector screening check, and the social workers are available throughout the entire experience from initial contact to post move-in to provide support. So I really encourage you to check that out. In terms of health, there's so much out there. There's a lot of physical and recreation programs and wellness programs. There's dental care, including free dental through Toronto Public Health for older adults with low incomes. There can be doctor's visits at home, falls and injury prevention training and courses. There's a lot of there is financial support for assistive devices and medical equipment. That's through the Government of Ontario, but even the City of Toronto has its own smaller health-related expenses program. There's specialized care that some seniors will need or will want, dementia care supports and geriatric health care. There's also a lot of agencies working to provide really good end-of-life palliative and hospice care. And so many organizations focused on mental health, counseling, and support groups. So you'll find that a big majority of health services are provided by the Ontario government and community agencies. If we'll move on, I just wanted to flag, again, as Councillor Robinson mentioned, the Homemakers and Nurses Services Program. This is a City of Toronto run program. It's aimed to help people who need assistance with household activities to remain in their home. So light housekeeping, a bit of laundry, some light meal prep, shopping. It's not nursing or personal care, but it's just kind of helping out around the house, homemaking. So that's a city program, and the number is on the screen, 416-392-8579. I know there is a wait list right now. You can also call 211, as some other agencies offer these type of services as well. I wanted now just to turn to local services. So in Ward 15, Don Valley West, let's have a chance to look at specific programs and services here in your community. And it would be great too to hear in the chat or after in the Q&A, what you really find useful in your community, the services that a lot of older adults rely on and use, and we'd love to hear from you. But first, I'll just talk about the older adult and recreation facilities run by the City of Toronto. So city recreation centers offer a lot of in-person programs. As I said, older adults get a discount, and some of them are free as well. There's a variety of different fitness programs, Tai Chi, yoga, some chair fitness, some specifically for older adults. There are a lot of social programs offered. There are sports. I think here we've given the example of pickleball, which I think we heard was popular from our recreation colleagues, and a lot more. In Ward 15, there's actually a number of these community recreation centers. So they're just listed here. Maybe some of you go to these: Banbury, Bedford Park, Jenner Jean Marie, Leaside, Maurice Cody. Oh, sorry, Leaside is a curling club. Maurice Cody, Tracy Mains Park, and York Mills Arena. So those are the local sites and facilities run by the City of Toronto in Ward 15. Of course, you can use anything across the city, wherever you are. And I think now would be a good time to start passing to our colleagues in the community who are doing so much amazing on the ground work to support older adults in Ward 15. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we've got a few different organizations with us today. So to start, I'll pass to Rob Wang from Senior Helpers to tell you a little bit more about what they do. So thanks so much, Rob.
All right, thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Councillor Robinson and Joseph. I'm really glad to be invited into this panel. We've been providing senior home care services in downtown and midtown Toronto for quite a while now, and this is actually our first time to be invited to such a panel. So I'm really thrilled to see that you're putting this together for our senior community. So thank you. So at Senior Helpers, we provide in-home care services for seniors. We provide personal cares and companion care such as housekeeping, meal preparation, incontinence care, bathing, toileting, accompanied to doctor appointments and such. So if any of you are seeking additional assistance other than from the LIN, from the CCAC, or as Vanessa mentioned, the HMNS, the Homemaker nursing assistance program, those are excellent programs. And if you need additional assistance, please let us know. We actually specialize in dementia care. We work very closely with Keep Us Know. She is a very well-known dementia care specialist. We categorized dementia, different stages of dementia into different categories, and we will customize our care based on different level of dementia. All right, so yeah, so I'm really glad to be one of the panelists today. And I see in the chat that I think one of the participants is Scott and PA. They were seeking home care. Like I said, the services from the LIN and HMNS are excellent. So please make sure that you reach out to them. All right, thank you.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Mary and I'm with East York Meals on Wheels. We are working to address food insecurity in our community by offering healthy and affordable meals to seniors. So we have a hot meal delivery program that's run daily. We have a frozen delivery program that's run weekly. And we offer halal meals every week, provided at low to no cost for seniors. Our deliveries are operated by our compassionate volunteers. Subsidies are also available for our clients. We have a new South Asian inspired halal menu that is also being offered free of charge in 2022. We have a new fresh produce delivery program. So we offer fresh seasonal produce provided at low to no cost, offered on a pay what you can model for our clients, and deliveries for that program are bi-weekly. If there are seniors looking to get out in the community, we have a Diners Club program that's up and running again post-COVID. So we gather seniors together in the community, go out for a discounted meal with social interaction at restaurants like Swiss Chalet, Egg Smart, Watts, and Rise and Dine. There are also many food banks and community fridges in our community. So there's one located in Thorncliffe Park and Flemington Park. There's also a community fridge that offers fresh meals and produce and other food essentials free of charge. That's located at 10 Gateway Boulevard. So if you have any questions or are interested in any of our services, please give us a call. Our phone number is on the slide. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Mary, and also Rob. And I just wanted to ask if people call 211 looking for food services and mentioning that they live in the area. 211 can also refer to you as well, to East York Meals on Wheels, or to Senior Help.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Okay, and we'll just make sure, and I think we may already have, but we'll put those numbers for both Senior Helpers and East York Meals on Wheels in the chat too. I like how much more you do than Meals on Wheels, actually. So I'll pass now to Pal from the neighborhood organization to talk to you more about their services for seniors in your local area. Pal, I think you're on mute. I see your name muted.
Sorry, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
sure. Yeah, thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Ray Robinson and the team for giving us an opportunity to present ourselves on this session. TNO, the neighborhood organization, has a separate division called Integrated Services for Seniors, focusing on supporting the seniors. We support older adults aged 55 plus, unlike the one you mentioned, in Thorncliffe and Flemington area. We support them on primary care, allied care, and community services. The program focuses on active living, enabling older adults to age in place, remain connected to healthcare and support services. Also, the the team has adult day programs that's done at various locations, at our office in 10 Gateway or at 18 Thorncliffe or 1 Leaside. And also in the library, we do have a schedule which distributed to the local community members. They could join on, register with us on any of these sessions and be part of it and learn in the process and also participate and enjoy these sessions with us. We also have another division with us in as PSS, Personal Support Service, wherein we provide support activities on daily living, from personal care, hygiene, providing medication reminders, escorting to appointments, support or companionship related to overall health, well-being, leisure, wellness, and social activities, according to established individual care plans. The program supports seniors facing several social determinants of health, connecting clients to primary care and other community health services within our interagency and local framework. If anyone needs further details, you can get in touch with us at 416-424-2900 or email us at seniors@tno-toronto.org. I have with me in the panel Sandra as well as Fazila. If there are any questions at the end of the session, we will be happy to provide clarifications that you're looking for. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be here.
Oh, Vanessa, I think you're on
You
mute.
are muted.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying thank you so much, Pal, and great point. At the end, when we do questions, it's not just for me and Joseph from the city, but it's also for all our other panelists here today who can tell you more about their programs. So what I'm going to talk about now is Sprint Senior Care, who you may know. They weren't able to join tonight, but they provided us with this information. So Sprint is a not-for-profit organization providing a wide range of low-cost and practical services to seniors in the community. They're located in Merton Street in the Midtown area, and they've been serving seniors since 1983. They help seniors stay safe, connected, and live as independently as possible. And they're committed to providing exceptional care and quality services that enable seniors to live at home and thrive in their communities. So it's a pretty big organization, 275 staff and 260 compassionate volunteers, and they help about 4,000 seniors in North Toronto. So some examples of their programs are on the right of the slide if you can see it. They also do Meals on Wheels. They do adult day programs, caregiver supports, social work, community wellness programs like virtual social and exercise programs that I was mentioning before. They have a dementia care residence, Ewart Angus. They do home care support, so PSW, personal support workers, come into your home and provide support. They have house calls, primary care. That's when we were talking about doctors' services in your home. They do supportive housing, transitional care from hospital, transportation services. That's something we didn't cover earlier in the presentation, but really important and helpful to know about because Sprint does it, but others do as well. If you need to get to a medical appointment or a social activity, there are nonprofit agencies that offer transportation services to this, usually at a fairly low subsidized cost for seniors. If, let's say, TTC doesn't work for you, or you're not eligible for Wheel-Trans, or it doesn't work on a particular day, and you call them and they can help you arrange sometimes accessible transit or accessible transportation vehicles to help you get where you need to go. So you can call 211 for that, but for example, Sprint here offers that. They're part of a network called Toronto Ride of various agencies that have come together to offer transportation for seniors. And so for any information about Sprint and their services, or if you want to join one of their programs, you can call their information desk at 416-481-6411. And I trust that Joseph will put that in the chat as well. Thanks so much, Joseph. And lastly, we don't have the police here with us tonight, but they've provided us with this information as well for, you know, traffic complaints, but also queries about community safety or potential fraud. You can contact the local 53 division, which is for your ward, at 416-808-1386 or 416-808-5337 or 416-808-5319. There is an overall non-emergency police number that we'll also put in the chat in a few minutes, but this is specifically to reach the sergeants and police constables for 53 Division if you really want to talk locally about any of your concerns. Hopefully you can see those numbers on the screen as well. So really at this point, we've come to the end of the formal presentation. We discussed a little bit about recreation, social, employment, financial, health, housing, food, and home care supports. And importantly, we discussed the key resources on how to access information, like those numbers. Everyone should remember 211 311, our 24/7 helplines, the Toronto Seniors Helpline, and also our new directory of services for seniors. Just really want to encourage you to check that out and hope you'll find it helpful and enlightening. And even if it's, you know, it helps you learn about 3 new services you didn't know, there's so many in there and there's so many good ones across the city. And we hope everyone will be able to take advantage of them and that they can help you. And so now we've come to the point that we'll open up to questions. If you do have a specific situation about you or a loved one, you're welcome to follow up with us directly to ask your question. We're hoping to respect and maintain everyone's privacy during this session. So you can reach out to us at seniors@toronto.ca. We can have a look and see who's best to connect you with, or if we have the answer ourselves. Also, before asking your question, please let us know to whom you are asking. Is it to the City of Toronto Senior Services team, which Joseph or I will try to answer? If we can't, we'll take your details and get back to you. Is it to one of the community agencies, so Sprint, TNO, East York Meals on Wheels, or Seniors Helpers? Is it to police, or is it to Councillor Robinson's office? And that will just help us know who should answer your question better. But we all will work together to answer your question, and certainly to our colleagues on the call, if Joseph and I are answering a question, feel free to jump in with the experience that you have and know as well.
And thanks so much for that, Vanessa. And in the interest of anonymity and privacy, I am going to stop the recording now, and I'll
Thanks,
stop
Joseph.
sharing the screen so that we can see everyone on the panel.